At least 10 wildland firefighters have already given their lives this season, and the worst weekend of the year starts right now. 78 large wildfires are burning across America as you watch this video today. The Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Montana is the epicenter of this historic crisis. Over 3.5 million acres are actively burning right now, and this weekend is about to make it worse. We're talking dry lightning with no rain, gusty southwest winds, and humidity crashing to near 10%. Here's a stat that will stop you cold. 2026 has already burned 7.6 million acres nationwide. That's 170% of the 10-year average, and fire season still has weeks left to run. Oregon alone has shattered its all-time acreage record, burning nearly 4 times its annual average this year. And the detail you won't believe, 3 incident management teams have flown in from Australia and New Zealand to help. When you're importing firefighters from the Southern Hemisphere, you know the situation is beyond extraordinary. We've got active fire breakdowns, evacuation orders, road closures, air quality alerts, and the weekend forecast. If you are in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, or Montana, this is essential viewing right now. So let's get right into it. All right, let's start with the big picture numbers because you need to understand the scale of what we're dealing with. As of Saturday morning, August 22nd, the national preparedness level sits at 5. That is the maximum. 22,751 firefighting personnel are deployed across the country today. 125 individual incidents are on the books, covering a combined 3.6 million acres nationwide. The Northwest geographic area alone, Oregon and Washington, accounts for 2.53 million of those acres. The military is in it too. 240 soldiers from Joint Base Lewis-McChord are fighting the Little Giant Fire in Washington. 5 Air Force Reserve and Air National Guard C-130 tankers are staged at Klamath Falls, Oregon, and Redding, California. When you deploy the Army and call in allies from the other side of the planet, resources are stretched to the absolute limit. Now let's go state by state, starting with Oregon, the hardest hit state in the entire nation this year. Oregon has 15 large fires currently burning, more than any other state in the country right now. The total burned acreage in Oregon this year has crossed 2.6 million acres, nearly 4 times the annual average. Let's talk about the fires you absolutely need to be watching, starting in the west and working our way east. The Grasshopper fire is the one closest to Portland, burning in the Mount Hood National Forest near Dufour. At 93,365 acres and 76% contained, crews are making real progress, but do not let that number fool you. Active fire behavior continues with uphill runs, flanking, and group torching on the northeast and east flanks. This fire has burned 35 structures, cost $79.2 million, and forced evacuations across Wasco and Clackamas counties. Highway 35 between Government Camp and Hood River has been repeatedly closed. Check trip check before you drive it. Good news. The Level 1 evacuation order for rhododendron east through Government Camp was lifted Friday evening. But here's where it gets interesting. Today's weather could challenge some of that containment progress later this afternoon. Moving east of the Cascades, the Austin fire is burning 25 miles southeast of Estacada in the Mount Hood National Forest. At 4,492 acres with 0 containment, this one is running hard, and Clackamas River Road remains under Level 3 orders. If you are on Clackamas River Road southeast of Estacada right now, those are go now evacuation orders. Leave immediately. Now let's head into the Umatilla National Forest, where the Hagen fire has become one of the most dangerous in Oregon. The Hagen fire sits 26 miles east of Pendleton, 59,107 acres and only 19% contained as of this morning. $43 million spent, numerous residences and critical infrastructure threatened, and active evacuation orders remain. The IMSR report notes broken drainages and complex terrain are driving active flanking, torching, and spotting behavior. Highway 204 between Elgin and Weston through tollgate just reopened on August 19th. Forest Service roads are still shut. Right next door, the Paradise Fire is quietly growing along the Oregon-Washington border, 18 miles east of Milton-Freewater. 0% contained at over 7,000 acres, and evacuation orders are now in effect for the surrounding area. Level 3 go now evacuation orders are in effect along Mill Creek Road. If you're there, do not wait to leave. And here's a detail that tells you everything about how thin resources are. One team is managing both Hagen and Paradise simultaneously. Now let's talk scale. The Big Grass Fire in Malheur County is one of the largest fires in Oregon's recorded history. At 578,674 acres and 18% contained, it has cost $64.4 million in firefighting expenditure to reach that number. Level 3 go now orders remain for Pleasant Valley, Flint Creek Road, and Antelope Ridge Road in Owehee County, Idaho. The Wright Spring Fire near Sprague River, 54,276 acres, 55% contained, has structures and critical infrastructure threatened in Klamath County. Multiple Level 3 evacuation zones remain active in Klamath County. Check the Klamath County Sheriff's Office for current zone maps. Now let's move north to Washington, which has 13 large fires, second only to Oregon in total fire count. The Little Giant Fire is the headliner in Washington, burning 30 miles northwest of Leavenworth in the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest. 140,379 acres, only 15% contained, and this fire is still running. Active fire behavior with flanking, group torching, and spotting, and today's wind will fan every ember on those uncontained flanks. The south shore of Lake Chelan is under Level 3 go now evacuation. 240 Army soldiers are fighting this fire right now. $78 million and counting, 26 structures already lost. Transfer of command to CA Team 5 happens Sunday morning. The Sinlahekin fire burned 154,298 acres near Tonasket in Okanogan County. At 47% contained, 30 structures have already been lost. Evacuation orders remain active near Tonasket. CAL Fire Team 5 is managing this one, and today's conditions will test those containment lines hard. Near Snoqualmie Pass, the Three Queens Fire has burned 3,849 acres just 6 miles east of the pass with only 2% containment. The King Fire, 7 miles northeast of Snoqualmie Pass, is a brand new incident. It started overnight with zero containment. If you are driving I-90 over Snoqualmie Pass this weekend, expect possible closures and check the Washington 5111 system before you go. The Grand Park 2 fire inside Mount Rainier National Park, 167 acres, 67% contained, is still forcing evacuations inside the park. Now let's check in on Montana, which has 12 large fires and a significant escalation over the past 48 hours. The Sand Creek Fire near Wisdom in the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest has grown to 31,757 acres at only 7% contained. Mandatory evacuation is in effect for Maverick Mountain, Elkhorn Hot Springs, Shale Creek, Clark Creek, and the north end of Grasshopper Valley. The Pioneer Mountain Scenic Byway is closed with no reopening date, and Forest Service Road 2420 near Wisdom is shut down completely. The Windmill Fire in Stillwater County, 4,194 acres, 10% contained, grew by 1,194 acres in the last 24 hours alone. The IMSR describes wind-driven runs, spotting, and group torching, and today's weather pattern is designed to push that fire harder. The Deer Creek Fire west of Marion has grown to 632 acres with zero containment and active uphill runs, threatening structures and energy infrastructure. Now let's swing into Idaho, where 10 large fires are burning, and conditions today are a significant concern. The Upper Smith Fire in the Idaho Panhandle, 3,906 acres, 38% contained, has energy infrastructure threatened near Port Hill. The Moose Mountain Fire in the Nez Perce Clearwater National Forest has grown to 3,707 acres at only 7% contained. The IMSR reports active behavior with flanking, backing, and wind-driven runs. Structures are threatened and road closures are in effect. The Cascade Fire jumped to 4,100 acres overnight. That is a 100-acre run in one day, and it sits at 50% contained this morning. Two brand new fires, Grotto and Three Links, both ignited in the Nez Perce Clearwater area overnight with zero containment. All right, that is your active fire picture across all 4 states. Now let's talk about what is making everything worse today. An upper-level trough is crossing the Pacific Northwest, Northern Great Basin, and Northern Rockies throughout today, per the IMSR. This trough is generating fast-moving, scattered thunderstorms, and here is the critical detail that changes everything. Most of these storms are producing little to no rainfall. what forecasters call dry lightning, and it is every firefighter's nightmare. Dry lightning, that's when a thunderstorm fires bolts to the ground, but the rain evaporates before it ever reaches the surface. You get all the ignitions, none of the suppression. It can start multiple new fires simultaneously across thousands of square miles. The National Weather Service in Spokane has issued red flag warnings for eastern Washington today, active through 8 p.m. PDT this evening. NWS Spokane also flagged a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms with best chances for stronger storms between noon and 9 p.m. PDT. Temperatures are running near 97 Fahrenheit in Spokane and in the low to mid-90s across much of the Intermountain West today. Portland is forecast near 91 Fahrenheit, Seattle near the mid-80s, and Missoula, Montana in the low 90s this afternoon. But it's not just the heat that's most dangerous today. It's the combination of critically low humidity and afternoon gusty winds. The IMSR notes relative humidity values dropping to 15 to 25% across the fire zone, lowering to near 10% in some locations. That is critically dry. Fine fuels at 10% relative humidity are capable of carrying fire rapidly across the landscape. NWS Spokane warns that isolated outflow gusts from stronger thunderstorms could reach 50 to 60 miles per hour in the fire zone today. Those are not sustained wind speeds. Those are outflow bursts from storm cells that can shift fire direction without warning. General afternoon winds across the region. Breezy west to southwesterly, consistent with what the IMSR predictive services described this morning. Once again, near 100 Fahrenheit heat, critically low humidity, gusty winds, and dry lightning starting new fires all at the same time. NWS Spokane noted this is similar to conditions before the early August Spokane fires that destroyed over 900 structures in a single weekend. On air quality, you need to hear this whether you are in a fire zone or not, because the smoke is affecting millions of people. Oregon DEQ issued an air quality advisory effective through at least Monday, August 24th, covering multiple counties in the state. Crook, Jefferson, Eastern Umatilla, Northern Union, and Southern Wasco counties are all under that advisory right now. In Washington, 13 eastern counties, including Spokane, Wenatchee, and Okanogan, are at very unhealthy levels with no end date. The smoke is not going anywhere meaningfully through this weekend. Plan accordingly if you are in any of those areas. A surgical mask will not protect you from PM 2.5, the fine particles in wildfire smoke that go deep into your lungs. You need a tight-fitting N95 or KN95. Stay inside, close your windows, and run your HVAC system on recirculation mode. High-risk groups, children, elderly adults, pregnant women, and anyone with asthma or heart disease should stay inside completely. Check fire.aeronow.gov for real-time air quality maps updated every hour across the entire country. It's free and accurate. On road closures, GPS navigation can route you into closed roads and active fire areas. Do not rely on it in fire zones. Check tripcheck.com for Oregon and 5111wa.gov for Washington before driving anywhere in central or eastern Oregon this weekend. US 26 between Prineville and Mitchell is on a single-lane pilot car system. US 20 in eastern Oregon has seen intermittent closures for weeks. All right, now let's talk about what is coming behind today's trough and how it sets up the next few days. NWS Seattle confirmed that the upper low moves inland tonight and weakens through Sunday as it transitions to an upper trough. Behind it, upper ridging builds into the Pacific Northwest on Monday and Tuesday for warmer, drier conditions per NWS Seattle's AFD. Tuesday is forecast to be the warmest day of next week, with interior highs in the 80s and low 90s in the Cascade Valleys. But warmer and drier behind the ridge means fine fuels continue losing moisture with no meaningful precipitation in the immediate forecast. Every day without rain, the grasses, the duff, the needle beds across the fire zone lose more available fuel moisture. The NIFC monthly seasonal outlook confirms above normal fire potential persisting across Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and northern Montana. That outlook covers central Utah, northwest Colorado, western Wyoming, and northwest Montana, westward to the Pacific Northwest coast. The NIFC outlook also notes no indication of sustained wetting rainfall through the remainder of August across these states. El Niño is in place as we head toward fall, and outlooks favor above normal temperatures, consistent with the NIFC seasonal discussion. Now, here's where it gets interesting. NWS Seattle flagged a second upper-level disturbance approaching the region around midweek. The NWS Seattle area forecast discussion issued Saturday afternoon says an upper low will approach the northwest offshore by Wednesday. That system brings increasing onshore flow and cooler conditions. Precipitation chances also increase Wednesday into Thursday. NWS Seattle notes a need to monitor thunder potential over the Cascades, with current probabilities under 10% for that system. Whether that system brings useful rain to the fire zone or produces additional lightning is something we will track daily this week. That is the honest picture. Possible relief, possible new ignitions. The forecast is not settled enough to say which way it goes. Now let's talk about the major fire weather concern for the coming days, because this is what you need to understand most. The Storm Prediction Center's extended fire weather outlook continues to flag elevated fire weather potential across the Northwest for the late August period. Exactly how that pattern evolves is still being refined by forecasters. We are not at a point of high confidence on specifics yet. What forecasters in the NWS are confident about is this. The fuel moisture deficit across the entire fire zone is extreme right now. Weeks of burning have left fine fuels bone dry across Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Any wind event matters enormously. What the NWS Seattle AFD does confirm for midweek is an upper low approaching offshore. The track determines the fire weather impact. If that system stays offshore and moves into British Columbia, its main effect is a welcome onshore flow and a humidity bump. If it tracks slightly more inland over Washington and Idaho, it increases the potential for gusty winds and possibly lightning activity. NWS Seattle put the thunder probability over the Cascades at under 10% for this system. That is not zero, but it is low. The honest assessment from official sources is this. The midweek system bears watching, but is not yet a confirmed fire weather event. What does not require uncertainty is the fire behavior risk from today's confirmed weather that is real, active, and happening now. Let me explain spotting, because it's the specific mechanism that makes today's conditions so dangerous for already active fires. Spotting, that's when burning embers are lofted by the wind and carried ahead of the main fire front to start new ignitions downwind. Under gusty wind conditions with critically low humidity, active fires can spot well ahead of the primary fire perimeter. That means a fire that's 60, 70, or 80% contained can suddenly reignite behind containment lines in minutes. The Grasshopper fire near Dufour, 76% contained this morning, is exactly the type of fire that containment crews worry about today. The IMSR for today confirms the Grasshopper still has active behavior with group torching and spotting on its flanks. Let me also explain pyroconvection, because fire meteorologists consider this a real hazard on large active fires today. Pyroconvection, that's when a fire generates its own weather system, pulling air inward at the surface and driving a massive smoke column upward. When that convective column becomes unstable and collapses, it can produce downbursts in unpredictable directions at the surface. Those downbursts endanger crews on the containment lines and can rapidly push fire across areas that seemed secure moments before. Fire weather conditions favorable for pyroconvection include the exact combination present today: high heat, low humidity, active fire. According to NPR's reporting, at least 10 wildland firefighters have died this season. Entrapment incidents are at a 20-year high. Reuters reported as of mid-August that firefighter entrapments in 2026 are already the highest year-to-date count since 2006. We name those numbers not for drama, but because every crew on those containment lines today is operating in genuinely dangerous conditions. Once again, today and Sunday are confirmed critical fire weather days. The IMSR, NWS Spokane, and NWS Seattle all agree on that. We will have daily updates as the midweek systems track becomes clearer and as fire activity evolves through the weekend. Let me close with the complete evacuation summary. These are the Level 3 Go Now orders in effect as of Saturday morning, August 22nd. In Oregon, Mill Creek Road near Milton Free Water for the Paradise Fire. Leave now if you are anywhere in that corridor. Clackamas River Road southeast of Estacada for the Austin Fire. Check Clackamas County Sheriff for exact boundaries. Multiple zones in Klamath County for the Wright Spring Fire near Sprague River. Check Klamath County Emergency Management. In Washington, areas near Tonasket and Okanogan County for the Sinlahekin Fire, south shore of Lake Chelan for the Little Giant Fire. Check the Okanogan County Sheriff's Office for exact zone maps. Boundaries shift quickly when fire behavior escalates. In Montana, Maverick Mountain, Elkhorn Hot Springs, Shale Creek, Clark Creek, and North Grasshopper Valley for the Sand Creek Fire. In Idaho, Pleasant Valley, Flint Creek Road, Triangle, and Antelope Ridge Road in Ohe County for the Big Grass Fire. This is a historically severe wildfire season, the worst the Pacific Northwest has seen in recorded history by total acreage burned. At least 10 wildland firefighters have given their lives, 900 plus structures were lost near Spokane, and the season is not over. All fire incident data in this video comes directly from the NIFC Incident Management Situation Report dated August 22, 2026. Weather information is sourced from the NWS Seattle and NWS Spokane area forecast discussions issued today, August 22nd. Seasonal outlook data comes from the NIFC National Predictive Services Monthly Outlook, publicly available at nifc.gov. I'll be tracking every major development, new evacuations, new fires, forecast updates, and posting as they happen. If this video has been helpful, please share it with someone in Oregon, Washington, Montana, or Idaho. This information matters. Hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update as this situation continues to develop. I'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay prepared, and above all, stay safe out there. Take care, everybody.